Today, the Fed cut their target rate by 25 basis points, marking the second consecutive meeting of a cut. This was a widely anticipated move by the market, as the Fed had indicated up to the meeting that they were willing to be accommodative, but maybe at a more gradual pace. Maybe 25 basis points was in the cards and not 50 like the last meeting. Inflation remains front and center of their minds, but their attention has really shifted to the cooling labor market. Seemingly, they feel that the rate hiking cycle they embarked on in the start of 2022 was restrictive enough to quell inflation. But however, there's troubling concerns about the labor market. Therefore, they felt a cut is in their best interest at this time. The vote was unanimous, which is a departure from the last meeting where they saw their first dissent since 2005. If there was any surprise, it came around the question of what would it take you to pause? I mean, why would you keep cutting rates when you keep telling us the economy's strong, the markets are good, and you have complete confidence in it? And Powell answered the question around what he thinks the neutral rate should be, not too accommodative, not too restrictive, but he didn't define what that was. But the surprise really came at the end of his answer, where he stated, this is something we're starting to think about. Now, this is a meeting that's taking place 2 days after the election, and there was a lot of politically based questions, including questions about Powell's own employment status. To his credit, he dismissed them and brushed them aside, but I do think if there wasn't as many politically charged questions as there were, the market or the people asking the questions may have jumped over his comment that they're actually starting to think about cuts. More people would have gravitated to what's going to happen at the next meeting. That didn't take place. I think that comment will get teased out in the days or in the weeks about what he means by they're starting to actually think about a pause, but I was pretty shocked that it was overlooked by the audience. Since the last cut, the 50 basis point cut in September, rates have actually gone up, and meaningfully. The 10-year is about 80 basis points higher today than it was in September. And this has kind of confounded some people. You're cutting rates, but rates are higher. And the answer is the data keeps coming in strong. The economy does seem to be robust. But at the same time, no matter who won the election, there's been fears that our deficits are going to rise, and the rising deficits are unsustainable. This has re-stoked fears around inflation, and that has really contributed a portion to the rate rise. So when I think about what's next, I would think higher rates, maybe not meaningfully higher from here, but I think these levels are sustained. They can move around certainly up and down, but certainly not going back to the levels of the past 15 years. In addition to the higher level of rates, I also would expect a lot of volatility. There's definitely a lot of apprehension about the direction of fiscal policy. A lot of that will be noise, but it's tough to block out that noise, so the markets will react accordingly. What we would tell financial professionals, they should try and block out this noise. They should think about their long-term goals and not try and take any knee-jerk reactions to what may or may not play out with fiscal policy or even monetary policy going forward.